Hey guys, Bowie here, and today we're going to talk about a hero I think will explode in the next few days. Win rate might feel low to you right now, but when you check the weekly win rate of the hero, you're going to notice that it will soon start affecting the monthly win rate. And that hero is Drow Ranger. Drow didn't get any huge buffs in this patch, just a slight increase in the aura bonus, but that doesn't mean you should start picking it up at level 1. There are a bunch of matchups where level 1 arrow is important. Look how SCC harasses the OD here to no end. This hero has some pretty decent mid matchups when you're picking it after your opponent, which was the case in this game. Since you want to keep your distance against the OD, you get the second pointing frost arrows at level 3 and you deny the most important 2 OD has in lane, that is until level 5, when OD usually has enough reach to get on top of you, but even then, look how SCC outplays him at the end. He backpacks his salve while he gets astroed, and just by an inch, he can outplay the enemy mid. One thing that changed quite a bit from the old Drow Ranger is that before, you wanted to start hitting ancients as soon as you were level 6, and that's not the case anymore. You can still farm them relatively fast, but not at level 6. So SCC, even though he's mid and in the Radiant side and could hit ancients easily because of the position in the mid lane, he farms the medium and large camps around his lane on the right side. The early build is still almost identical. You want at least 2 or 3 Wraith Bands into treads to start farming your big item. In this matchup specifically, since he spams a lot of frost arrows against the OD and since he has a bunch of magic damage, he goes for the raindrops, but that's not usually needed. Another thing to note is how he ignores Gust. In general, you just want to farm with this hero, so until you're level 8, Gust is not, kill potential most of the time and you're not really looking for kills. It's more of a defensive tool at this stage, and the only time someone learns it before level 8 is in a game where Iceberg gets it at level 4, but we will talk about it more in depth. That's pretty much what you're doing as Drow at this stage. You're playing Shadowfiend without AoE, just defending middle, farming camps, and accelerating. In this game, we see something that might confuse you a little bit. Why would you learn Aura level 1 against a melee hero? Isn't this spell good when you have range advantage over a hero so that you can harass them? And that's true, but Ember always wants to do one thing at level 1. He turns his Flame Guard and gets the range creep. With the Aura, you can damage him more since he will be close to you anyways. You don't really need to look for him or slow him down. The extra attack speed also allows him to deny the range creep before Ember gets it, so that's pretty dope. This is the game where he learns Gust at level 4, and it's basically a way to deal with the roaming Skywrath Mage combined with Ember. When you think about it, if Ember wants to go on Iceberg, Gust is rarely going to matter that much since his cast points are really fast and the cast range is insane. But you do prevent the Flame Guard damage by pushing him away, and you also make sure he's not right-clicking you during the chains, since for him to get chains in the first place, he probably used Light of Fist first, so he cannot dodge the spell with his W. One interesting aspect of Iceberg's build, especially when you consider the buffs to the Aura, is how much harass he has on the Ember with this. While the slow might protect you from him closing the gap, once he's level 6 he can always engage from outside your attack range, and it will matter very little. The Aura not only gives him a lot of punch in lane versus Ember, but if the Ember tries to close the gap and kill you, the Aura will always be more useful in a 1 versus 1 where he's already in close range. So here's the thing, your ult is pseudo-random. What pseudo-random means is that instead of something being true random, it starts at a lower percentage, but every time you do the same thing, it will increase the percentage to a point where it just has to happen. Because of that, you can prime your attacks so that your effective damage is higher when hitting creeps. Instead of attacking a centaur 7 times and proc your ult when he has 200 HP, you can divide the damage between the creeps in the camp to increase your farming speed so that your attack deals maybe 500, 400 damage. This is especially important until you're level 12 when the percentage of proccing is lower and you take some time to kill the camps. In this game, SCC is playing carry Drow, and while Frost Arrows is really good in lane level 1 for harass, especially against melee heroes in general, he goes for the Aura. In this game, he has 4 range heroes and a range support in his lane, so the extra DPS they can output is pretty decent. In general, as a safe lane Drow, you have to be way more careful with how you skill your points, because you're going to be experience deprived. You want to max your Aura ASAP so you can start accelerating once you get your level 6, and learning Gust or Frost Arrows past level 1 is always something you have to do rather than something you want to do. The Dire lane is not particularly scary, and SCC can get away with the second point of the Aura at level 3, and usually, just learn those spells when you're really being pressured. While you would rather have 3 Wraith Bands almost always, the safe lane dynamics often require that you get boots, and in this game, Omni starts out-leveling SCC, and once he has boots as well, dealing with him is a big problem. Unlike the mid lane where there's not a lot of path for the enemy to dive you without tower range, the safe lane has a lot of path, so SCC gets boots, and you can see how it allows him to survive because of the move speed. So he not only buys time for the Lina to TP, but Brewbeak never reaches him to get a Fable kill. The crazy part of this TP is that at first it seems really dumb since he has a shrine available and he is not level 6 to start farming the triangle yet, but during all of that chaos he noticed Storm mimicking the rotation from Lina. And I mean, even more impressive than that, the enemy support realizes that a sure kill for the Storm was dodged and quickly notices exactly where the ward was and he dewards it. Hi Mardot is so good. Oof. Eventually in the lane, Dire goes for the exact same play and the completed tread shows its value straight up. As soon as they engage, his tread switches to strength. You might say that Gus would solve the entire problem, but not only this hero's turn rate is absolutely ass and you can miss it when they're already so close to you, trading away kill potential and or farming speed for a pointing Gust early on is never really good. Because of the move speed and the extra HP he lives, and he can start accelerating. The old Drow would instantly TP to the triangle, but as we talked about, this hero doesn't farm as fast in the triangle anymore, and that's another reason why boots early is way more important than before. Regardless of kill potential in lane, you want to have at least brown boots as you reach level 6 so that you can farm, so that you can move from camp to camp faster because you actually clear the camps really fast. SCC walks from bottom lane to top lane farming everything, but again he ignores the ancients and he groups with his team to push the tier 1 top tower, and that's a great move since this hero pushes well and he farms at the perfect speed to get there at the right time. That's, you know, it's so beautiful. This is a really interesting game for a different reason than all of the others we mentioned already. We said that Drow has some good mid matchups when you pick after the enemy middle, but what happens when you get brooded? In this game, the only hero that can actually lane versus Brood was Brewmaster, so Limp goes top versus an Alchemist. Unlike a hero like Omni that can trade well and might hurt you, Alchemist has no ways to trade against you. So Arrow's level 1 is actually really damn good since he has absolutely no way to respond, and you can even take him out of the lane, whereas if he was attacking by drawing aggro, then he wouldn't be able to do this indefinitely. In this game, since Limp obviously had a good time, he can afford 3 wave bends before boots, and he tries to use the item aggressively here with his support Weaver. Unfortunately, it backfires, and as we talked about in other games, Gust is usually learned at level 8, but even then, when the enemy heroes can gap close on you, it rarely does that much in the first place. But still, Limp is accelerating really fast in this game, while he can steal some of the camps from the Alchemist. In this Miracle game, we can see again Aura being picked up at level 1. This is a clear scenario where the Aura is better than Frost Arrows. You're certain that Bristleback is going to stand his ground and try to kill you, so the slow means nothing. I'm pretty sure they get First Blood because of the point being skilled, and that's a huge boost for Miracle's game from the get-go. I can see a lot of lower MMR players thinking that gusting this lane is absolutely necessary because Bristleback is going to dive you eventually. While that's a valid point, Bristle will only dive you if he has enough HP and mana to go at you on your tower, or to just go at you. Look how Miracle lanes versus a Porcupine. As long as no creeps are about to die, he constantly attacks any hero in his sight. Unlike many laners, Drow can attack Bristleback without drawing any aggro, and so you should use your downtime from CSing at all times to make sure he cannot be aggressive on you. That not only forces him to spend more regen without gaining anything, it also doesn't hinder your farming speed once the laning stage breaks. While Miracle harasses Bristle, the prey becomes the hunter, and he barely survives. You might think that Miracle is dumb for not learning Gust, but the reality of this situation is that without the 2 points he has, he wouldn't be able to harass the Bristleback like that in the first place, and so he would probably dove earlier. The play also highlights the importance of regen. It allows him the chance to kill the Bristleback while he farms uncontested afterwards. Eventually he gets dove, thanks to a great glyph play from the Dire, but not only he kills Lion before falling, he also kills them both when he comes back since they keep trying to play aggressive. The equivalent of learning Gust here would be to, let's say, max Stormhammer in lane as a Sven. Yeah, maybe you kill the offlaner a couple of extra times or doesn't die against a tri-lane, but Drow is all about getting level 6 and accelerating, so hope that's clear now. Even in this scenario, he didn't learn the spell. Note that as soon as Miracle gets his level 6, he finishes Threads in the side shop, and even at level 7, he refuses to learn Gust. Thanks to Strength Threads, perfect timing on the wand usage, and great fog selection, not only he survives, but he TPs to the triangle to shrine and to start power farming at the perfect timing. Miracle did spend more on Regen, and he did get bullied a little bit, but because he reached level 7 with 4 points of aura, he can now compensate for all of that, and he does farm Ancients, surprisingly, but note that he's level 7 with 4 points of the aura and really farmed. This takes ages if you're level 6 with no boots and 2 Wraith Band, so be wary. And I guess that's it, guys. Thank you very much for watching, commenting, and subscribing. My plan is to have a second video tomorrow about Drow Ranger, using the same replays, but watching the mid-game, watching the itemization. Most of what Drow Ranger does is similar to the old videos that I had, but there are a couple of changes. For instance, you know, a lot of Mask of Madness being purchased. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you want to see a second part, you know, make sure to comment, make sure to like, and show this to your friends. Because, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, this channel is all about showcasing content that people want to watch. So if no one's watching, it kind of loses the purpose, at least in my opinion. If you want to make this channel a little bit more sustainable, you can check my Patreon rewards. There's going to be changes on Patreon that I think will, you know, make it way more attractive to everyone watching this. So stay tuned for that. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on Twitter, you know, all of those social media things really helps getting hired. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. Bye.